go for the final time. We are green! Oh, they make contact! A terrible crash!
We're in it.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to race number 8. We are getting very close to All-Star Race Weekend, but this is race number 8 of Season 10, the final season of the NNSCRA Snickers Cup Series. Coming to you live from the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania at Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle. And just how tricky will it be today? Who's going to conquer this very difficult 3-turn racetrack in order to maybe put their name into contention for a spot in this season's chase for the championship? It's going to be awfully interesting to watch these drivers here today. Last week we ended up having Dougie Shears throw his name into the ring with his victory at Bristol. It's going to find out today if maybe another driver will put their name into the hat, or will we see another driver that's already been to victory lane this season maybe go to victory lane for a second, or in Dylan Poteet's case, a third time this season, and maybe solidify themselves a spot in this season's chase. It'll be 20 laps of racing here at Pocono. This track has been absolutely sunny all day long, which will indicate probably some very slick racing conditions. This track does not have a super whole lot of banking, so these drivers are going to have to try and find grip where they can in order to produce high speeds, fast laps, and get around the track as quickly as they can and get themselves to the front of the field. Dylan Young sits on the pole position. Dylan Young comes into this race. I believe he is outside of the top 35 in points as I'm looking at the point standings right now. No, I'm sorry. He actually was last week but moved his way up into the top 35. He moved up 8 spots to 29th in points, but still being plagued by that victory. Hasn't been to victory lane since Champs-Élysées of last year. Alongside of him will be Benjamin Miles, who also hasn't been to victory lane since Season 9. Benjamin Miles right now comes into this race 14th in the points. He was another driver who moved up very well through the point standings with a good run last week at Bristol, without a hood, I might add. He ended up actually being a lap down, worked his way back up onto the lead lap, and ended up having a very strong finish. So both of them looking for their first wins of the season, coming off a good run at Bristol. It's time to get these cars rolling off here, so we're going to go down trackside for the command. He won this race 3 seasons ago, back in Season 7, the last time the Snickers Cup cars were at Pocono. This is probably the closest we're going to get to New Jersey, so please welcome James McLeod, driver of the number 51 Chevrolet, as he will now deliver those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
Pace car will lead the field off of pit road. They'll make their way around 3 turns. This track holds a lot of memories for me, but one of them brings about a memory of a fail that I had. I remember when, I think it was actually the last time that they raced here in Snickers Cup. It might have been the Oreo Truck Series race in Season 8, but regardless, I remember I ended up saying that they were coming out of turn number 4 for the final time, not remembering that this is called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. There's only 3 turns, so that was a fail on my part. Hopefully today I'll learn from my mistakes and not make that same mistake again. As far as the drivers that we mentioned that are former winners this season that have a shot at maybe getting a chase spot, the furthest starting up of them is Dougie Shears, rolling off in the 5th position as he's going to try for a twofer here. Go back-to-back at Bristol and Pocono and solidify himself a spot in the chase for the championship. The other drivers that we'll keep an eye on that are also going to try and do the same thing include our past winners from the last few weeks, including Daytona 500 Trent Dunham, Dylan Poteet, Jessica Shelton, Austin LaPlante, and Tim Walsh. There's another name, too, that I'm trying to... Well, no, actually, I think that was all of them. Yes, it was, actually. So we're about ready to go here. Joshua Collett is now the points leader after a heartbreaking race for Charles Samper last week. Trent Dunham comes into this race now second in the points. Dylan Poteet third. Both of them are 12 points back. Seth Cole is fourth in the standings, 17 points out. Charles Samper fell to fifth. He's now 18 points out, along with Michael Norman in sixth. The rest of the top 10 in the point days coming into this race. John Cittadino, Dougie Shears moved up to 8th. Kyle Matthews is 9th. And Austin Bongold, what a rookie season he's been having. He's now up into the 10th position in the points. Here we go, though. Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles get ready to get us underway. Green flag is waving here at Pocono. One car stepping out of line already. That's Cole Daly. Drivers spread out here on this front straightaway trying to find the best entry into turn one. See Brandon Gonzalez moving out of line there as well. So a number of drivers making a move. And I think the caution may be out already. It is. They must have wrecked somewhere back in the 30s because nobody up here at the front is in trouble. As Benjamin Miles with the run on the high side is going to get to the lead. Hendrick Daly Motorsports has not won yet this season. Benjamin Miles would like to be the first as the outside line prevails for him. Dylan Young now side by side with Pichu London. And here they come out of turn number 3. Dylan Young trying to get the run. Miles gets the nice run out of the final turn, and he's going to lead him down here to our first caution of the day, taking place right here on lap number 1. I didn't even see the incident take place. There's the skid marks in turn 1, so it was just after we crossed the start-finish line to get this race underway. And as you can see, there's a nice string of cars there, so this must have taken place close to the rear of the field. See if our ticker will give us any indication of who was involved. It looks like maybe Sean Galligan, Charles Jackson, Richard Johnson, maybe DJ Curtis and Chris Dollerton as well. Oh, and there's 3 cars on pit road, badly damaged, heavily damaged. That's Richard Johnson, Jackson, and Galligan. There is Curtis. And there is Dollerton. Looks like James McLeod. Last time we were at this track, he was the winner of this event. Looks like he's got some rear end damage. I don't know where these drivers exactly qualified, but boy, the 44, 54, and 47, they are all crunched up. All 3 drivers have not won yet this season either. As a matter of fact, I believe Richard Johnson and Sean Galligan both come into this race outside of the top 35 in points, so this is not going to help them today. And Charles Jackson came in 28th in points. This may knock him out of the top 35, depending on where other drivers finish. But caution flags out for the first time here today at Pocono. Benjamin Miles is the leader. Leaders did not come to pit road. So let's take a look and see what happened. It puts us under our first caution immediately after the green flag flew to start this race. Well, let's see if we can pinpoint where this happened. With the sun gleaming on these cars, it's kind of difficult to see. Oh, watch. Oh, wow. I don't know if DJ Curtis crowded James McLeod or... Oh, my goodness! Galligan got airborne, and Jackson's going to go completely over several times. Richard Johnson might have gotten some air as well. From what I saw, it looked like maybe DJ may have crowded McLeod, or else he got bumped from behind by Dollerton. But, man, the end result afterwards... That was insane. Let's get another camera angle here. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly they hit that caused them to go airborne there. They're going to go airborne in just a minute here. Oh, right there. Oh, I see it right there. That's where the safer barrier begins. And there's a little area that juts out. Look at the air that 44 got. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Combined with the high speeds of Pocono and just the angle he hit that wall, that beginning of that wall. Oh my word. Very rarely do you see a car get that high in the air. But there's a little space where the wall juts out in order to begin the safer barrier there in turn number 1. And I think that's exactly where Galligan hit with the right front of his machine. To confirm that, why don't we go on board with the Hartlepool Chevrolet and take a look at his airborne view as well. Richard Johnson, hard hit. Jackson, you saw him barrel rolling several times. And, of course, we know that DJ Curtis and James McLeod collected, maybe Chris Dollerton as well. Now, normally we play this in real time, but the people of NNSCRA, the crew here, doing a great job of giving us a slow motion look of this. Now watch, there's the contact. Now watch on the right side. You're going to see just a little area right about here where the wall juts out. Right there. You can see that's where the safer barrier begins. And look at, I believe James Qualls went underneath Sean Galligan's machine. The car got so high in the air that another machine was able to drive underneath it. Oh my goodness. And then when Galligan hit that, it just jutted him out in front of Charles Jackson and Richard Johnson, who had absolutely no reaction time. And the velocity of that hit made the velocity of Galligan's hit into Johnson and Jackson just so violent. One more time here from the helicopter view. And watch here just how little reaction time there is for Jackson or Johnson. Right there. Oh, what happened there when Galligan came down into Jackson, Jackson got turned sideways and Johnson hit him in the side, which caused him to go into that series of barrel rolls. We're going to take one more onboard view before we go back to green, and it's going to be with the 74 Travel Chevrolet of James Qualls. I want to see if indeed he did go underneath the flying number 44 out of Tweenix Racing. Hang on tight, folks. This one's going to be a little bit scary. You can see right there, yeah, Qualls did go underneath the 44 of Galligan when he went up into the air. That was one of the scariest wrecks I think I've seen this entire season. Hope that all three of those drivers involved right there, Richard Johnson, Charles Jackson, and especially Sean Galligan, are okay. So we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. A couple of drivers did come to pit road to get their cars repaired, including McLeod, Dollarton, DJ Curtis. They have returned to the racetrack, but the three drivers that took the most violent hits and all of that have taken their cars back behind the wall with terminal damage. They include Charles Jackson, Sean Galligan, and Richard Johnson. And as I mentioned, all three of them, one of them in danger and the other two already outside of the top 35 in points. And in order to make the chase, you've got to not only have a win, but you've got to be inside the top 30 in the standings. And this really puts them behind the 8 ball and pretty much just continues what's been a struggling season for pretty much all three of those drivers. Green flag back out. Benjamin Miles, Dylan Young, Lyndon Wright, Dougie Shears, and Pete London. That's the top 5 as we are back to green. Lyndon Wright stepping out of line there on Dylan Young. Dougie Shears going to take him 3 wide. That's the battle for second. Dougie Shears, a man on a mission. He's already won a race, so why not try and risk it, go for a second? The worst that can happen is you get a second win, you solidify yourself a spot in the season's chase. And they are 3 wide behind him. That's Joshua Michaels going 3 wide with Zach Buchanan. He's got his teammate Chris Washer there as they're going underneath Pichu London. Levi McIntyre there as well. And Michaels now slides up into what would be the 5th position as now Benjamin Miles slides back to second. New leader, the Red Bull Chevrolet, Dougie Shears, out in front here at Pocono. Another driver working his way up the inside line there. I saw the DeWalt Tools Stanley Ford of Joshua Collard starting to work his way to the front here. The points leader. As a matter of fact, let's take a look and see where some of our drivers in points, where they're at. Collard is currently scored in the 16th position, just ran his fastest lap of the race. Now running behind Levi McIntyre and John Citadino, he's got Sean Henley now coming to his inside. Henley, who had a great top 10 run last week at Bristol. Where is Trent Dunham at? There's Dylan Poteet, 31. He's going to cross the line in 21st last time, 17th this time by for Dylan Poteet. Almost made some contact there with Collard. And there's Trent Dunham. So the top 3 are all really close together. Trent Dunham right now running just behind Austin Mongold, was scored 21st last time by. Now how about Charles Sanford trying to make up for last week's little mishap at Bristol and losing the points lead? There he is, right now running just behind his Retro Racing Enterprises teammate Jessica Shelton. He's currently scored in the 29th position. I think he just lost that to Ryan Acosta. And there's Seth Cole back there. Now he lost a spot in the standings last week. Fell down to 4th, and right now he's running at the tail end of this pack. This is not good for him. Still quite a ways to go here at Pocono, but running back here with the damaged machines. Nathan Hudson back here. And there's McLeod and DJ Curtis, the last car on the lead lap. New leader, Chris Washer in the 35. Washer was a two-time winner last season. Had wins, if I'm not mistaken. One was at, I believe it was Armory. And the second one came at Thornton. But neither one of them were good enough to get him into the chase for the championship. One came, I believe, just before, but he was pretty much too far down the standings to be a contender for a spot. And then the second one at Thornton ended up coming during the chase. So he'd love to be able to get a victory, get that out of the way. Dougie Shears there in second. Then you got Cole Daly. Saw him making some moves early on. He's now up into third. Fourth place, Pichu London. And Joshua Michaels currently in the fifth position. Here's the pole sitter, Benjamin Miles. He's fallen back to sixth. Zach Buchanan there in seventh. Eighth place for Sean Henley. The defending champ, Brandon Gonzalez, right now in ninth. And Dylan Young going to lose the 10th position to Danny Wells, who of course is trying to bounce back from last week's race at Bristol, where he was leading, coming to a caution flag, and then I guess he ended up getting loose or something, and his teammate Dylan Pokey got into him, spun him out, and wrecked him. From what I understand, the situation is resolved between the two teammates from Tweenix Racing, but Danny Wells having to play catch-up now. That incident that took place with him last week dropped him to 31st in the point standings, and Danny Wells, who was a three-time winner last season, I believe? He's trying to work his way back up here. Teammate Trent Dunham right behind him. Teammate Sean Henley just ahead. Pichu London stepping out of line. That's for third place off of Cole Daly. Oh, and he just got turned! Right up into Daly, just got turned, and there's caution out. Caution's out, but the two of them saved it. But the 22 and the 88 get together. That's our second caution of the day. That was a battle for the third position that just went completely awry. It's a wonder more drivers weren't involved in that. It was just Pichu Lennon and Cole Daly, but that's going to bring out the yellow here on lap number 12. At the front, it is still Chris Washer. He'll lead him to the line over Dougie Shears. Then it's Michaels, Henley, and Gonzalez will be the top five. Did Wells get Miles at the line? He did. So Wells to sixth, Miles into seventh. But how everybody was able to avoid that, I don't know. How we were able to keep those two going, I don't know. Daly fell all the way back to 32nd as a result. Pichu London now damaged, all the way back in 21st. And that looked very reminiscent to the incident we saw take place earlier between James McLeod and DJ Curtis, where either one just didn't give the other very much room, or they may have gotten hit from behind. Yellow flag out for the second time here today at Pocono. Chris Washer is the leader. Let's go back, take a look at a replay of what just happened. That was a tremendous save by both those drivers, but it was enough for the NNSCRA officials to decide to bring out a caution. Pichu London did a complete 180, so I can't say I blame him. But that was only a two-car incident, and I don't understand how it was even that. Let's take a look at a replay of that amazing save and a hardship for both those drivers who were battling inside of the top five. Well, let's see what happens here. Pichu London going to move up the racetrack, and boy, that was all on Pichu, actually. I don't know if London thought that Michaels was going to try and make a three-wide move, and he was trying to give him room, or if he thought he was clear on the 88, but that was on London's shoulders. Daly was up against the wall. He couldn't have given Pichu London any more room. So that was a mistake on the 22, but the fact he looped it around, kept it going, that is amazing. He got the most damage out of it, but didn't pay as much of a price as Daly did. Daly a long ways back as a result of that. Looking at it one more time from the helicopter view, did London feel he was clear on Cole Daly? I honestly don't know how he thought he was. Daly was still right up alongside of his right rear. So either London made a judgment call or his spotter told him he was clear when he wasn't. but the spin up to the outside of the racetrack, everything was pretty much spread out, so everybody was able to have plenty of maneuver space, and boy, the way we got away with that is absolutely unbelievable. But it did bring out our second caution. Let's go back for the restart, or see if these drivers may end up coming to pit for the finish of this race. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing, and everybody that was still running at the time that caution came out is still running now. We have only 3 drivers back behind the wall. If you're just joining us, we had a huge collision. A lot of heavy impact take place on lap 1 in turn 1. And as a result, Sean Galligan, Richard Johnson, and Charles Jackson are out of the race. But we still have 39 of the original 42 cars still on track. Chris Washer, Dougie Shears, Joshua Michaels, Sean Henley, Brandon Gonzalez. That's the top 5. Then it's Danny Wells, Benjamin Miles, Trent Dunham, Zach Buchanan, and Bob Jones now up in the top 10 as we are back green with 4 laps to go here at Pocono. Joshua Michaels wasting no time, trying to make it a RGE BMW Racing 1-2 at the front, moving Dougie Shears out of the way. Brandon Gonzalez going to follow, and there's Danny Wells in the 4. I'd watch out for that Mountain Dew machine. Chris Washer, though, has done a good job since getting out in front of holding back all comers, but he may not be able to hold off his teammate. Here comes Michaels. Big run down the Long Pond straightaway, and he'll outbrake Chris Washer into what is turn 3. And he'll take the lead off of turn 3, coming to the line. Joshua Michaels going to lead a lap. Michaels was up to 10th last week in the standings, fell to 13th. Trying to move his way back into the top 10. Brandon Gonzalez right behind him. Brandon comes into this race 18th in the points. The defending champ needs a win to defend his title. Washer now falling back into the wake of Danny Wells and Trent Dunham, who have their own little battle going on for the 4th position. Danny will clear Trent for that. So now it's Joshua Michaels versus Brandon Gonzalez. Michaels, I'm sure, would love to have Chris Washer get up here, help take some heat off of him, because he's got that Furniture Row number 23 Mitsubishi in his rearview mirror. Actually, he's not there anymore. He's to the inside. 2 laps to go here at Pocono. Gonzalez going to the inside for the lead off of Joshua Michaels. And now here comes Chris Washer bringing along Danny Wells. Now Michaels tucks in line. Can he and Chris Washer do something with the driver out of Gonzalez Motorsports? Can they team up together? Uh-oh, slower car up ahead. That slow car is the rookie DJ Curtis, who they may encounter before this race is over. Getting word DJ Curtis just came to pit road for a scheduled pit stop. He was not maintaining minimum speed. He had to get that car repaired a little bit more after he was involved in the lap 1 incident. White flag displayed. 1 more lap to go. They're single file in the top 5 with Gonzalez, Michaels, Washer, then Danny Wells and Trent Dunham. So it's Gonzalez Motorsports, then RGE BMW Motorsports 2nd, 3rd, and then Twinix Racing 4th and 5th. There's more slower drivers up ahead. That's Nathan Hudson, Charles Samper. Did these drivers have to pit? They might have all had to have pitted. They might not have been able to have made it the whole way or something. Nobody came to pit road on that last caution, but I think some drivers had to pit. Here we go, though, out of the final corner by a car length. It's Gonzalez, and Brandon Gonzalez is going to possibly defend his title. He'll go to victory lane for the first time this season, taking the checkered flag here today at Pocono. And just when he came up on those drivers on the tail end of the lead lap. So apparently, I thought the 20 came to pit road for repairing damage, but apparently that car came down for a regularly scheduled stop, as did Samper, as did Nathan Hudson, and Austin Mongold. They apparently could not make it the whole way on fuel. Everybody else, though, was able to. They had a number of pacing laps in which to be able to clutch for that extra little bit of fuel, but apparently they couldn't make it. But Brandon Gonzalez, and I think maybe, well, I was going to say Chris Washer and Joshua Michaels might be out of fuel, but they're still under power. So Brandon Gonzalez, who took the championship last season, making a bid to go for his 2nd Snickers Cup Series championship in a row, trying to lock himself up a chase spot. As I mentioned, he came in 18th in points. Now he's got a win, so now his name is in contention for a spot in this season's chase for the championship. Our 8th different race and our 7th different race winner. He outduels the RGE BMW boys. Michaels and Washer, great runs for both of them in 2nd and 3rd. Danny Wells and Trent Dunham for Tweenix Racing, they get 4th and 5th. That's got to feel good for Danny Wells after the hardships he suffered last week. And for Trent Dunham, came 12 points back. It would all depend on where Joshua Collard finishes, but Trent may take the points lead back after today. We'll see. Dougie Shears, 1 week after his victory at Bristol. That's a solid top 10 run for him in 6th. Zach Buchanan, he stayed in the top 10 all day. Nice run for him. He's going to get 7th. 8th place for Sean Henley. That's his 2nd straight top 10 finish. Bob Jones, a great run for him in the 9th position. And finishing the top 10 out is Austin LaPlante, who I believe may move into the top 10 in points now. He had moved up to 12th coming into this race. He may be up inside the top 10 in points now. Might our winner from Phoenix. Let's see where Joshua Collard did finish this race. Finished the race in 19th place, so I think he still may hang on to the points lead, but it won't be by much over Trent Dunham. Well, thank you all so much for watching today's race here at Pocono Raceway. If you enjoyed today's race at the Turkey Triangle, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finish results from today's race. Brandon Gonzalez is your winner, making a bid to make his way into the chase for the championship and defend his title. We shall see you guys next time, as here comes your official full results, your overall point stands, and your rookie points heading into next week. If I'm not mistaken, I think Austin Mongold took rookie of the race this time. Yes, he did. He was 34th, DJ Curtis 37th, so Mongold again winning rookie of the race. He's been on quite a tear lately of finishing just ahead of DJ Curtis, so congrats to him on winning rookie of the race. Thank you all again once for watching. We'll see you guys next time, as you've been watching another production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Goodbye from Pocono. I was attacked by the Mafia and a serial killer, and I was haunted by the Jester. I died! Oh, what? Whoa! What?
The arson.
Whoa!
Stop it, a whammy, a big win.
An arsonist. The arsonist won.
We can lick the tears. It tastes good. He doesn't know you. Where you going? Can I do now?